All right, I'm going to do my best to keep this as short as possible, but this is Kahoot, and I use this a lot in the classroom, both for younger kids and all the way up through my high school groups. This is a really great website and tool if you have just a couple extra minutes and want to do something fun, or it can be very educational, and I use it a lot as a review tool or kind of to gauge what we need to still work on or review. So you sign up, it's free. You just make a username, you use your email address, create a password, and then you're usually good to go. So what you want to do as a teacher is go to the Create Kahoot webpage. If you just go to Kahoot, it's going to bring you to this one, and this is the game page where you just enter in the game pin and it will bring you to that game. And that's what the students do. But if you want to find a Kahoot, you need to go to this one. And what I do the most is just search for them. It's the quickest if I have a couple minutes and need to just throw a Kahoot on the board. Let's say my kids were in math and we're still working on, sorry, my computer is so slow. Multiplication facts, there we go. Internet's slow. Okay, so here are some options of games that other people have created. Some of them are kind of funny. What I always look for is the amount of questions. So like you see here, this is 50 questions. That's probably going to take quite a while, probably close to a half an hour, if not longer, depending on how fast the kids are plucking along on their game. So maybe just 15 questions would be a good example. So what you do is this will kind of give you a preview of what this game entails. So you see every single question here. Looks like it's a good mixture of multiplication facts. Nothing too hard. Sometimes you come across ones where they have really big numbers and you kind of have to gauge on if that would be good for your elementary or good for your high school. So if you click on a question, it will also give you the answer options that are going to be shown when they play. And then you just check here, yep, 20 is the correct answer, so they should click green when they get to this one. If you look over here, this is how much time is given for this question before answers are needed. This is also, if I had bigger numbers here and I wanted them to do long division or something, I would want this to be longer. So if I only saw 20 seconds for long division, I might not play this game, just because my kids would need more time than that. So that's another way you can kind of customize and choose which ones would be good for your class and which would not. So if this one looks good, you can click play or challenge. I'll show you what challenge is in a second. So this will come up. This is the screen you're probably going to want to come up and pull up on a smartboard. You have two options here for how to play. You can either have the kids play each other, so one-to-one. This is usually if they have phones or iPads, they can play each other. Or if you have a really big classroom or you're limited on how many devices you have, you can break them up into teams. Let's just do the classic mode. That's what I do the most. So it'll take a second to come up. Okay, so here is the game pin that kids would then enter. They can either go, like I said, to Kahoot it online. There's also a free app that most devices can download, and it will just bring up this screen. They can just enter in the game pin. It's then going to also ask them for a nickname, which they can choose their own name. They can create one of their own. They can be kind of funny. And then names, just to save time, I'm not going to show you everything, but names will pop up down here. And if he has some naughty nicknames, you can just click on the name and it will exit them out and they have to redo everything. Are you still waiting for? And if they're all ready to go, let's say if I had 5 kids, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, we're ready. And we would click start. It will then go through each question, basically what it looked like on this page. If my internet wants to work. Okay, So it will pop this up. It will give them 20 seconds. They're going to want to, it will show you, what's kind of cool is once you actually are playing, it will show you how many kids answered, correctly, how many kids answered this one, how many kids answered this. So you can kind of gauge on if this question is easy for them or if it's challenging, if it's something you need to talk about, or if it's something that you can just keep going, yep, they got this. So that's kind of neat. I like that a lot. The challenge button is kind of neat. I've only tried it once and it works. It's just you got to get the kids kind of used to doing it. So it's basically like a homework assignment. So I can make them make this Kahoot homework. So let's say I want them to play it at home or sometime outside the classroom, and they have until Friday night at 11 p.m. to play it. So anytime between now and then they can do that. And then I hit create, and what you can do, you can copy this into, let's say if we use Schoology, so you could copy this onto your Schoology page, and here's the pin they would enter in for their game pin, or you can just share it on Google Classroom or on Remind, which is really cool. So it's going to be live until the 29th at 11 p.m. and I would hopefully see that all my kids played it and how many points they got, how much time they took on each question, and this would kind of be kind of a home review game. So, and I can reward points for that or whatever I want to do. So that's kind of cool. If I like this one, I can star it and it will save it to my favorites on my Kahoots, which is probably what I do the most. I find ones that I like and I use them and favorite them. So here's my Kahoots. I have 2 that I've created so far. I have favorited 23, and I also have one that another teacher made and shared with me. So here's ones that I have made. These ones for my younger students. And I'll show you as quick as I can how to make one. So basically the same thing. I put in the question, I put in the answers. You have to have at least 2 answer options, and then you can have all the way up to 4 if you wanted. 4 is the max though. And then I chose how much time to give them to answer, which is kind of nice. You can really customize it for your students. So yeah, and I pulled all these pictures just off the internet and pasted them in and asked what time it is. And yeah, it was really pretty easy. So I'll show you how I did that. I just clicked on New Kahoot. Computer and internet is slow. Okay, so the quiz is the one that I have done. I haven't played with these other ones yet, but I plan to do that this year because they sound pretty cool. The quiz is the one that I've showed you and is probably the most popular, where you have the multiple choice answers. The discussion one basically brings up a discussion question onto the board. I'm not sure if kids can type in answers anonymously. What's kind of cool about Kahoot is you can see how many people have gotten a question right, but it will never show who got it wrong or who got it right. It will just, that will be kept to them. They will see if they got it wrong or right, but it's kind of anonymous, which is nice. So that is another cool thing about Kahoot, but I'm not sure if this one will bring up actual answers to discussion questions or if it just kind of shows a discussion question. This one I believe is putting things in order like it says. I think I would probably try and use this from my books that we read in class and see what happened at the beginning of the book, in the middle, and the end, and put different things in there and try and make sure they keep things in order. Survey I feel is pretty close to the quiz, but like you said, you can gather audience opinions, or like it says, and kind of gauge on what the class is feeling. So that's kind of cool. But if you want to just create a quiz, I know how to do that. So you put the title of your quiz. No, let's not do that. You put the title of your quiz, a description on how, and so these are things that people would type in the search bar and would then lead to your quiz. I usually just do 1 or 2 things. It is required. Visible to who? Only me or to everyone? language audience is kind of what it's targeted to. I always just do school. And then if I got my pictures or my videos or whatever, I just put that in here. Okay. And then I usually just add an image. So let's say this is a fun one we like to do a lot, and you can find, oops, my computer is so slow, even though I just updated it. Okay, there we go. All right, so let's say we're going to make a Name That Song quiz for fun. And I can put a picture in here if I wanted to. All right, so I would add a question. And name that song. All right, so here's where you can kind of customize things. I can choose how long I want them to answer. Okay. This is really nice. So if I put like an algebra problem up here, or a math problem, let's say it's like just a simple multiplication fact that they should have pretty quick for an answer, I could just choose 10 seconds. But if it's a longer, like long division problem that they're going to use whiteboards to write out on, I might use the whole 2 minutes. The award point option is for if you want to gauge how, or want to keep track of how fast they answer and how many they've gotten right in a row. So it'll award points based on that, and that's kind of how it stacks them up in the end of first, second, third, you know, who's the fastest, got the most correct, and in a row. Here's your answer options. You just click on which one is the correct one. Like I said, you have to have at least 2, but you can have up to 4. For the Name That Song one, we usually like add a YouTube video of the song, like a Kids Bop tune or something, to kind of throw them off. And it will pause. It will not just take 10 seconds. It will pause. It will play the video. And then it will give them an additional 10 seconds to answer after the video is done. So that's kind of cool. Or this is how I did my clock one too. I just got pictures off the internet of my clocks, added the image here, put in my answers, gave them an option of how long. Okay. Oh, yep, I have to do that. But it will just bring up the questions, create a new question, and when you're done, you can publish it. It's really easy, and oops, I don't know what I'm doing. So I know I took way more than 5 minutes, but this is a really fun website that I use a lot. And like I said, they have these other options here too that I want to use for like my older students. So I hope you enjoy this, and I hope this was informational. And yes, thank you very much.